The dislike count is being removed across all of YouTube. Can this be a good change? Hello and welcome. My name is Sparkfinger and today we're going to discuss the newest and biggest update to YouTube as a whole. Is there any way this change can be good for the health of the biggest video sharing platform on the internet and its community, us? Let's watch the video explaining the update and comment on it, because I believe there are certain hints in it that might indicate the actual change that is going to happen.
Hey folks, you may have seen a while back that YouTube announced it was experimenting with making dislike counts private. Apparently groups of viewers are targeting a video's dislike button to drive up the count, turning it into something like a game with a visible scoreboard.
So, YouTube is trying to say to us that they don't want the videos to be targeted attacks of internet mobs. Well, they definitely can be problematic. They also want to remove a psychological effect of wanting to be in the majority. I mean, so far both of these reasons mostly sound like a cover-up, but I do find it believable that YouTube wants to give downvoted creators more space and give them better control over their own image. Let's just think about it for a second. When there is no dislike count and comments are turned off, you'll be able to pass out your very controversial, very disliked video as a video that only has likes. As you can see, so many creators already made their own opinions clear about it and made a lot of jokes about it as well. You will not be able to find out anything about the video context if there's no downvote count, and you will simply have to search the internet to find out anything about this video, and you will probably not find anything out about it unless it's some kind of big tragedy like, I don't know, Logan Paul's video about going to suicide forest. Let's continue watching.
The dislike button is staying, but the dislike counts will now be private. You can still dislike videos, and that action will be used to tune your own recommendations, but you won't be able to see the dislike count.
So, what they're trying to say here is that the dislikes are still going to change what's being recommended to us, the people who downvoted it. But are those downvoted videos going to be recommended less to other people who haven't seen it yet and they will not be able to see the dislike counter? Is it possible that YouTube is planning to create a massive shift in algorithm in order to create more traffic for the site? Stay tuned and maybe we'll find out more.
Without a public dislike count, how can viewers tell if a video is worth watching? Again, I kind of had this question too, but it turns out that while viewers might use the dislike count to give them a sense of a video's worth, when the teams looked at the data across millions of viewers and videos in the experiment, they didn't see a noticeable difference in viewership, regardless of whether they could see the dislike count or not. In other words, it didn't really matter if a video had a lot of dislikes or not, they still watched.
Now this is extremely problematic, because when I search for tutorials, I usually try and watch all of them before I conclude if it's a useful tutorial or not. If it has like 20% of dislikes or more, then it's probably not going to work at all. And now, if there is no dislike counter or comments, we'll be under threat of going through a potentially harmful tutorial, and let's say end up installing CCleaner or creating 10 more AdSense accounts. With these words, YouTube corporate overlords are simply disregarding our struggle to find truthful information on their site. And it's simply infuriating and upsetting. This is the worst point of this presentation.
Next common question. If creators can still see the dislike count on the back end, how's that any different? They can see it if they look for it inside Studio Analytics under the Engagement tab. But overall, it's much less likely to cause stress and embarrassment if the count isn't visible to the public.
Now this is a change I really don't understand. How are we supposed to find out if the video has flaws in it, for example? I myself am going through the process of fixing some mistakes that I tend to make in my videos. And the dislike count, as well as negative comments, they do really help me improve my process.
And one more common question, is this because YouTube Rewind got lots of dislikes? No, although there are some teams internally who have learned the hard way what it feels like to get lots of dislikes.
YouTube Rewind 2018 was actually a good example of mob mentality. It was a fun meme, hating on the corporate cringe that it was. But sadly, it was an actual, real example of this particular herd mentality. I guess this is exactly why they're bringing it up. They are sort of shaming us for banding together and making it the most downvoted video in history. They're sort of picking this example as a more obvious one. So, this was the update. Let's reiterate. They are removing the dislike count for both viewers and creators. Creators will have to spend the necessary steps to see it. And their main excuse is helping the beginners and minority YouTubers. They're completely disregarding the tutorial argument, thus making one more step towards turning YouTube into corporate television. And here's the deal. I believe there are three main components to this change. They're trying to make YouTube a generally more positive place, like many other internet resources that don't have a dislike button. This is laudable, but also pathetic, because it really removes an element of free speech in our interaction with this site. 2. It's quite possible that they're changing the video recommendation algorithm. Now, the videos that are downvoted will be more likely to be shown to people who haven't seen them. It's not confirmed information, but as we've seen, it is what they seem to be insinuating towards. And number 3, protecting the corporate brands. Now, large companies will have much better luck posting their commercial videos, with no risks of tainting their own image. There won't be dislikes, there won't be negative comments, which means more profit for them and for YouTube. Is the future really that dark now? I don't know. I believe it's possible that YouTube might change their mind. Maybe brand protection won't negatively impact our experience. But one thing is certain, YouTube removed an element of free speech from their site. You still will be able to express your negative opinion, but no one will ever hear you. So, this is the outcome. Please tell me in the comments if you agree with my conclusions. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. This channel is mostly focused on AI-powered role-playing games, so I invite you to become a member of the Elite AI Club. Until next time, Sparkfinger out. Bye for now.